The journey to the Nazi concentration camp was quite difficult and mentally tormenting for the pregnant women of Auschwitz. They knew that their baby bump would get them into trouble, but they never expected to be tortured inhumanly. Why did they become the victims of human cruelty? How were they punished by the Nazis? On number 5, we have sterilization. The Nazis had the vision to make their homeland pure. They believed in the purity of blood, and this rigid belief led them to make laws to sterilize Jew women. They didn't want new women to give birth. They wanted the country to be filled with Germans. If a Jew woman got pregnant, she was dragged to the Nazi concentration camp and forcefully conducted an abortion on her. No cries were considered, and they lacked mercy. New women used to hide their baby bumps to escape the forceful abortion. German women were encouraged to produce more and more children. No women of theirs were allowed abortion, even if it threatens their life. This put huge pressure on German women as their health started deteriorating. Surgical sterilization became legal in Germany as they brought in the law for the protection of hereditary health. It came into force in 1933. On number 4, we have starvation. The pregnant women were starving to death. They were not allowed to eat food for a certain period. This merciless move by the Nazis was to kill their babies. They were also put into several medical experiments and treated like animals. They received no protection or care. No baby bump went unnoticed. Nazis used to conduct drills to examine and select pregnant women to conduct risky medical procedures. The Nazis were curious to know what will happen to these pregnant women who were starved and malnourished. Many women suffered from miscarriage, and many babies were stillborns. They were treated poorly, and this affected their mental as well as physical health. On number 3, we have death camps. Many women tried to escape the forceful abortion of the Nazis. They sought the help of their inmates and kind Nazi nurses. Only a few of them escaped the concentration camps. They thought a better life was waiting for them, but to their dismay the Nazis caught them. The fate of the women who escaped the Nazis was unimaginable. They were put into death camps where they were killed along with their fetus. The Nazis' most famous method of killing pregnant women was putting them in gas chambers. They were asked to assemble and stand inside the gas chambers. As the lid closes, Zyklon B was released and the women were killed in no time. On number 2, we have forced sex. Jewish women were considered lesser than ordinary human beings. They lacked rights and freedom. The Jewish men helplessly watched as their wives, mothers, and daughters were raped to death. In the concentration camp, the guards inspected the women and asked them to strip before them. Then they choose which woman they want to spend the night with. They forced themselves upon the women and killed them. Several women got pregnant with Nazi babies, but they were treated just like other Jewish women. They received no special care or affection. The guards had no feelings or attachments towards the women who were pregnant with their children. Most of the guards already had a family, but they raped women in concentration camps for enjoyment. The miserable living conditions and forced sex even led a few women to end their lives. On number 1, we have educational punishment. Educational punishment was where pregnant women stood before the public and they were whipped by the guards. Even though camp doctors were allowed to stand beside these women, they were barred from providing any kind of medical assistance. Some pregnant women bled to death as they were whipped continuously. The guards also shaved the head of pregnant women and tore off their clothes. They were then made to walk as everyone teased and publicly humiliated them. They had no option but to comply with the strict punishments the Nazis gave them. Pregnant women who tried to run away were dragged and killed. In some cases, they were reported or murdered in death camps. The German women stood with their men and took no steps to help the Jewish pregnant women. They chose to remain silent. Which punishment was the worst? Do you think any pregnant women escaped the death camps? Let us know in the comments.